Hashem Kol Tagmoloi Oloi Kois Yeshuoi Sesa Oveshem Hashem Ekra Nidadai Lashem Mashalem Negdana Lechol Amoy Yaakov B'nei Hashem Hamavsa Lachasidav Hayana Hashem Kiyani Hashem B'Seichechi Yerushalayim B'Seichechi Yerushalayim Hallelujah Hakeliyata v'yayedeka Eloikai Haroi Mimeko Keliyata v'yayedeka Eloikai Haroi Mimeko In Becho Yanom Ushemuel B'Kodesh Shemoi Kodim El Hashem Ayvehu Yaneim Ayveyamod Anon Aydaber Aleim Shamru Eido Yiso Ayvechoy Noasan Elamoi Hashem Elokeinu Hayato Ani Som Haimemo Hashem Elokeinu Hayvi Yishtachavo Halyar Kodeshoi Kikodosh Hashem Elokeinu Ta-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da- Lam. Oi, 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 Mikdash Melech, Hey Melocha, Komitzeye, Mitay Rafecha, Raveloch Sheves, B'yem Kabocha, V'hu Yachmal, Lola Yechem Li, La. Likras Kala, La, Penei Shabbos, Nekabela, V'hoyul Mejisa, Hayzayeh, V'rachaku Kamevalayeh, Chayazis Yaminus Malkavraitse, V'yes Hashem taritzi ayadi yirbe ma'atzi v'nesmecha v'nagila v'ha'yla hayam mezimcha v'zallah toichem uneyam segulam v'yichala v'yichala l'chadei likras kahalo b'nei Yisrael es Shabbos V'yini yovei b'nei Yisrael oy sili olam kisheishes yomim osa Hashem es hashamayim v'yes haaretz. Being that today is Rosh Chodesh, the Hebrew month of Elul, and we start every morning after davening blowing Shofar. I will blow Shofar for everyone who didn't have a chance to hear, and whoever did hear it can't hurt hearing it again. Anyway, pretty much after this little boy, a little after he had his upsharnish, his haircut, he went to kindergarten, to school like he does every day, and he really didn't look good. He wasn't feeling well, so the teacher put him in a different room on a cot to lay down. A little later, the teacher walked in to see if he's okay, to check on him, and she realized right away that the situation was not a good situation, and this 3-year-old little boy with that angelic face did not wake up, and he gave back his soul to its maker. Passed away. You can imagine how destroyed the father and mother were. You can imagine how destroyed the siblings were. And they're sitting Shiva. And while they're sitting Shiva, many people are passing through the house, the Shiva home, and in walks 8 of the boys that this rabbi works with. 8 boys, piercings all over their body, tattoos. They put on a small beanie, you can tell it's just to honor the rabbi. They're coming into his house. Long hair, short hair. And they're sitting and talking to him, and they're about to leave, 8 boys, and they say to him, Rabbi, in your honor and in memory of your little son, this coming Shabbat, says we're going to observe completely this Shabbat. We're doing this for you and in honor of your son. We haven't done this for years. We left it a long time ago. But now they're saying for this rabbi, he's so great to us. For him and in memory of his little boy, they're going to keep Shabbat. Coming Shabbat. And they walked out. As they walked out, one of the people sitting there in the Shiva house says to the rabbi, what a chutzpah. That's all they're going to keep one Shabbat? After everything you've done for them? After all the love you give them, all the money you spend on them, buying them food and buying them drinks and buying them clothes, all they're going to do for you in the memory of your little boy is keep one Shabbat. I thought maybe a month of Shabbats, a half a year, a little longer, a little less, but one Shabbat, what a chutzpah. And the rabbi turns around to them and says, let me explain something to you. Let me ask you a question. If I had a chance, if I had one chance to spend one more Shabbat with my little boy, how much would I give for that? What would I spend on that? Just, I have a chance, one more Shabbat. That means those 26 hours I'm going to walk in the door and he's going to come running to me and I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to hold him by Shalom Aleichem and Eishes Chayil, and when I make Kiddush and he's going to sit by the Shabbos meal and we're going to play a game on the floor and sing together and learn a little, and I'll hold him and he'll hold me and I'll give him a kiss and he'll give me a kiss. How much do you think? Just for one Shabbat, one more, I would be ready to spend. He says, I would be ready to give up everything I own. My house, my car, my clothes, my last penny I would be willing to give up just to spend one more Shabbat. That would be my greatest nachas, one more Shabbat. And the people are looking at him, and he's looking at the people, and he says to them, imagine this Shabbat. 8 of God's children. He didn't see them on Shabbat, keeping a Shabbat for how many years already? How much pleasure is he going to have, Hashem, our Father in heaven? How much pleasure is he going to have from their keeping one Shabbat? You know how much it'll mean to God that these boys who have gone through so much, and they're going to keep one Shabbat, how much pleasure will God have with them? 8 of his children that he didn't see them Shabbat for how many years already? Who knows? So this rabbi says, imagine how much it means to God. So after I heard this story, I said to myself, maybe that is what this month of Elul is about. We just today entered the last Hebrew month of the Hebrew year, the month before Rosh Hashanah. Many of us have drifted off in our own mundane world, including myself. We get wrapped up in all the stupidities of the world. And God gives us this opportunity to get reconnected, and our Father in heaven gets to hug us again. This is what Elul is all about. Like I said last week, God is right now on a campaign trail. God's headed for his palace on Rosh Hashanah. That's when we pronounce God as King. We start off our Shacharit prayers when the Chazan will say, Ha-Melech. They're going to pronounce the King just entered. And for us to be able to get to the King, it's going to be a little difficulty. You got to see a king, make appointments. They got to check you out. You got to go through customs. You got to take one COVID test and another COVID test. You know how many COVID tests you got to take to go into the palace? But now Elul, like I said last week, Elul, the king is in the field. Whoever one of us, doesn't matter our level of observance and our level of religiosity, as long as we reach our hand out, God, the president, the king of all kings, our father, our master, our spouse, our lover, everything, Our love is renewed in Elul for Hashem. And when we stretch our hand out in Elul, just a little bit, Hashem is ready to shake our hand. And that's what this month is all about. Like I said last week, and like I said last night, and like I said this morning, and like I said, I will say and speak about in every one of my sermons, how can we get reacquainted? What do we have to do to get reacquainted with the King? And as I will speak tomorrow in my sermon, that is, let's get reacquainted for a second. Forget about the King for a minute. Forget about the King of all kings. Let's first get reacquainted with ourselves, with who we really are, with our essence, with our core. Our essence is pure, holiness, godliness. Let's get reacquainted with ourselves in Elul. So this way, when we come to Rosh Hashanah, we'll become a new person. Remember, as I said, Rosh Hashanah is not the birth of the world. Rosh Hashanah is not the birth of the world. Rosh Hashanah is the birth of man. We become brand new. Rosh Hashanah, we are new people. But in order to become new people on Rosh Hashanah, we have to prepare ourselves. In order to make a transformation of becoming someone different, someone better, someone more, with being our potential, living up to our potential, we can't just, boom, show up. Imagine someone's getting married in 2-3 weeks. He's all excited, right? You think he's just going to wait for a day before the wedding and just start preparing then? He starts preparing from the day he gets engaged. And as it gets closer, he starts preparing. Oh my gosh, now I have different responsibilities. It's a transformation. It's a new person. You get married, it's different than being single. It's more responsibilities. Now you have to care for someone else. And that someone else comes before you, believe it or not. And now I got to get used to this. So we got to psych ourselves up and prepare ourselves. That's what we do in the month of Elul in this month. We're preparing ourselves to become that new person. Before, like I said, before we get acquainted again with the King in the field, let's first get acquainted with ourselves. Because, as I said last night, we have such abilities and capabilities to conquer the world, to make an impact on people. And we don't realize who we really are. We're so wrapped up in the mundane world. We forget what we really can accomplish. But one thing I can promise you, God gave us the tools to accomplish, and God never forgets. God never forgets. All He does, all He wants is to see us make those baby steps. Make those little steps, not jump. Not jump and say, God, I'm going to do everything. Here I am. No. It's baby steps. And realizing, but with sincerity, being real, realizing who we really are, what we really are, and what we really can accomplish. Shabbos, good Shabbos. Hey, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.